At least 20 terrorists and 12 Pakistani soldiers have been killed and 104 passengers have been rescued after a terror attack on a train.
And the train was carrying 463 passengers in total in the southwestern Balochistan province of Pakistan. According to the Pakistan security sources, rescued passengers include 58 men, 31 women and 15 children. 17 injured passengers have been shifted to hospital. Over 100 Pakistani soldiers were on board this train, out of which more than 30 were travelling with their families. These are the numbers we have so far. And so far, 17 bodies, including 12 bodies of soldiers, have been recovered. 3 soldiers received minor injuries who are being treated at Bolan Medical Complex.
Security forces are working to safely release the remaining passengers. The terrorists, divided into small groups, have been cordoned off, and a clearance operation is underway. Security sources said that the gunmen are in touch with their foreign handlers via satellite phone. The operation will continue until the last terrorist is eliminated.
The security sources say over 50 terrorists attacked the Jafar Express in 2 groups. One of the groups stopped the train at the tunnel. The second was on the mountain giving cover fire. Before seizing the train, they blew up the railway track, forcing it to a halt in a remote area. Now, the train has been moved from the tunnel to the Quetta station.
People were screaming and crying. Some people laid down, so did we. Everyone laid down. There were gunshots and blasts, and after militants told us to come out. But people were reluctant, but we, along with children, came down.
Relatives of passengers on board were gathered at the Quetta railway station, anxiously seeking information about their loved ones.
My father is a heart patient. If he doesn't get medicine, he will get sick. This morning, while sending him off, I gave him some pills so that if he feels unwell, he can take them immediately.
We're desperately trying to contact our relatives, but there's been no response since we heard the train was hijacked in Bolan and passengers were taken hostage.
The Jafar Express travelling from Quetta to Peshawar was attacked near Sibi in Balochistan. The attack took place in Bolan, a volatile region that has seen repeated militant activity. The banned Baloch Liberation Army BLA has claimed responsibility for the attack.
Eyewitnesses reported intense gunfire as the assailants targeted the train, creating panic among the 463 passengers on board. Officials confirmed that the train driver was killed in the attack and several others sustained injuries.
Balochistan has long been a hotbed of insurgent activity, with separatist groups like the BLA carrying out attacks against Pakistani security forces and infrastructure. In August last year, 70 people were killed in 4 assaults in Balochistan province, which is in southwestern Pakistan. The latest attack underscores the growing instability in this specific region, raising concerns about passenger safety on key railway routes.
Now, for more on this, we're being joined live by retired Major Yasir Janjua from Islamabad. He's a defense and strategic affairs expert. Major Janjua, thank you so much for joining us on WION World as One. Of course, to begin with, we wanted to ask you about how you assess the situation, the circumstances surrounding this siege as well.
Well, there's been a resurgence of Balochistan Liberation Army or the BLA Majid Brigade. In the last few months, you might say, or the last year or so, they've become more and more active. However, one must keep in mind that this is still an insurgency. Balochistan is a province of 15 million people, and Majid Brigade total strength is about 1,500 people or 1,400 people. So 1,500 people cannot decide the fate of a country or a province. That they think that they demand independence, or they think that they can carry out terrorist attacks and the state will succumb to their pressure. Yes, because of the difficult terrain and the nature of the insurgency itself, operations become difficult. And as you can see today, because the train is stuck inside the tunnel and there are hostages and there are people who are not yet hostages but still stuck inside the tunnel, and we don't know, or the security forces do not know, how there's going to be a retaliation from the terrorists if they are inside the tunnel. So there's been an operation going on with a lot of caution because there are ladies, there are children, there are elderly people involved. So that's why it's not as simple as carrying out a raid against a terrorist organization or terrorists. So that's why the response has been very, very cautious and measured. However, up until this moment, more than 13 terrorists have been killed or eliminated, and there's going to be more because now there's going to be a cleanup operation. The government, the law enforcement agencies, the armed forces have cordoned off the entire area. Mm-hmm. So these people, they have not been able to go out from that area. So they are within that area. The only difference is that they have the hostages. Whether they are military personnel or they are women and children being used as human shield. This is a cowardly act, by the way. In the first place, I must say this, if Balochistan Liberation Army are so righteous in their right mind to think about independence, they should try and fight the armed forces. Fight them in the field.
Major Janjua, I wanted to also understand from you, the BLA, they've made certain demands here. They've, as per reports, that they are asking for the release of a certain number of people. Anything more that you can share on that front? And have they given any list of names, who they want in return? What is their eventual plan after this? They've given a 48-hour.
There are demands, and I'm not, to be honest, this is not the right time because the information coming on the media can have a lot of connotations. So this is not the right time. There are demands they are making, but let me assure you, law enforcement and the armed forces will never be taking those demands because if they start taking these demands once, these will never stop. And this is never the case. This never happens. These demands are never met. This is preposterous to think that they can make demands and they can get away with it. But the rescue operation is being planned and conducted very carefully. All I can say is I can't go into more details of what the demands are, but there has been a lot of caution in handling the situation. So maybe there is some kind of a carrot and stick situation that the armed forces take, and that can release or ensure the release of hostages. Because as of now, the primary aim of the armed forces is not eliminating the terrorists. The first and the foremost primary aim right now is release of hostages.
We hear you.
So for that, if they do some give and take, that could be a possibility, but I am not here to make a definitive judgment on that.
Major Janjua, thank you so much for joining us here. Of course, this is going to be a tough one to go through, and as and when we get to know, we'll definitely like to reconnect and understand what more the Pakistan Army is doing to solve this situation. That was Major Janjua joining us from Islamabad.
Thank you very much.